I saved you, Dean. I saved you.
I think you did, yeah.
I ruined your career, but I saved your life.
Yeah, I think you did.
You got a friend out of it, Dean.
I've never been so happy being away from competitive bodybuilding.
People probably don't know that story, so you should tell it. Rachel, because Rachel, before when she first met me, she'd hear about the politics in the sport and this and that, and she's like, I can't really believe that goes on. But then she goes, when we were in England there, and Dean told his story of what happened to him because he met you, he goes, I couldn't believe that shit goes on. I said, it does.
There's no politics in the sport, is there?
So what happened, Dean? Obviously, everyone want to know now what happened.
Okay, well, we've been over this many times, but we'll go on it briefly again. Basically, I was competing for 14 years, and 10 years in a row, winning the British Championship a fair few times. If you win the British, you get an invite back to the final. So I never had to qualify. So in their rules, if you win the British Championships 3 times, then basically you get a pro card. Yeah. They got a little get out clause that if you deserve it, you can apply for, and it's down to them whether you get a pro card. So I won it 3 times. Asked for the pro card, and they denied it. They come up with some bullshit excuse. So I won it a 4th time, and again, this is unheard of now. Nobody's won 4 times and not got a pro card. So I won it for the 4th time, and they come up with another bullshit excuse. And then I was going to go for the 5th time, and one of the old judges for the UK BFF, he turned around and he says, Dean, I don't know why you're even bothering. That was Warren. Okay. Warren from Emporium. And he's just like, I don't know why you're bothering. I know what Bill's like. Bill Turney's the guy who runs it.
Yeah.
Final decision. He says, I know what Bill's like. There's no way he's going to give you a pro card because you're good friends with Aaron and Lee and Simon, fan from the gym.
Yeah.
I was like, come on. It's a bit petty, isn't it? They can't deny me of a pro card just because I'm friends with people they don't like. So, because before that, Aaron had put on, what was it, Lee? It was some kind of promotion where he got you, he got Tom.
I came to Simon's gym. Yeah, I came to Simon's gym to do a seminar and that, yeah.
He was doing a tour around all of Britain.
And even Simon, he'll tell you, he got a call from the bill on that saying, do not have Lee Priest at your gym. If you have Lee Priest at your gym, you'll not be allowed to sponsor shows. And he said, well, Simon's like, well, fuck it, I don't care. He goes, I lose money on your fucking shows. And Lee Priest.
Yeah, he just put the Grand Prix back on, and he lost like £250,000 on that show. Like he'd been doing so much for the UK BFF, promoting all the shows. And basically, he'd gone out of his way to ring up every single gym that they was doing this tour at, just to say, if you have Lee at your gym, he's a lifetime banned athlete, you can't have anything to do with UK BFF. So there is like threatening all these different gyms, saying basically, if you have Lee there, then you can't compete, you can't have anything, you can't even come to our shows. So obviously, it was last minute thing. Lee was on his way. There's tickets had sold out. People are waiting for him. And Bill rings Simon up saying basically, he's like, oh, I heard a little rumor that you haven't Lee Priest at the gym. Simon's like, well, yeah, but there's no rumor. It's been advertised all over the internet for the last few months. And he's like, oh, wow, you do know that Lee's a lifetime band member. But, what's that got to do with anything? This is my gym, my business, and I've sold the tickets. I'm not going to turn people away. And he just basically said, well, if you have him there, then you can no longer have anything to do with UK BFF. So Simon said, okay, see you later. Fuck yeah. Lee came. It was a brilliant day, weren't it? And that's pretty much the first time I met you. And because of that time then, I'd always trained at Simon's gym and represented his gym, and good friends with Aaron and meeting Lee, getting to know them all. They just kind of fucking blacklisted me from all the shows, and that even if I was winning, they'd mark me down.
Happy, wasn't it when we went for dinner after that, and that you put the photo up online of you at dinner with me? You got the phone call about remove that photo.
Basically, yeah. So that was when I was going for the 5th one, and that judge said you got no chance. So I thought they're not going to be that petty, are they? So a lot of people are saying, like, you're not going to get the pro card because of this. Okay, let's put it to the test. Let's really see. So Lee was over, and we all went for some food, and we just got the waiter to take a picture on it. And then I posted it on the internet, bigging everybody up. There was me, there was my old training partner, Randeep, there was Simon, there was Lee, there was Aaron. And I just said something nice about everyone. I was like, isn't it amazing when your childhood heroes like Lee become your friends? Like Simon, how much he's done for the industry. Randeep, how much of a nice guy he is. Even Aaron, Bob Shite, who's a true loyal friend. And I posted that. 1 or 2 days later, I got this massive text, not directly from Bill's phone, but via somebody else to me, basically saying, how dare you post this on social media and associate yourself with these people, knowing that they're banned athletes and blah, blah, blah.
These people are the mafia or something.
You know what I mean? It's like,
what do you mean, these people? That
these people. Is
it because I'm black? That's so a bit.
Lee's life matters.
these short tape fucking face tattooed mobs. So basically, that was the point that it told me that they was never going to allow me to get a pro card unless I bow down to them and lick their asses, and this tongue doesn't go up assholes. So. So I sent a message back. I replied to it, and I just said, look, I've been a loyal athlete to the UK BFF for 14 years, 10 years in a row. I've won the British 4 times, and you still deny me of a pro card. I said, and I'll still be loyal to the UK BFF, the UK, can't even remember what they're called now. I'll still be loyal to the federation until the day that you tell me who the fuck I can and can't be friends with. And that's the day I walked away, and I washed my hands with it. Never compete with them or have anything to do with them again. That was that.
That's really the first day he met me. His bodybuilding career ended, and his life went to shit ever since.
You say that I've never been so happy and healthy in all my life.
And now you're on my. Oh, sorry about
that. Yeah. I'm like Dean's angel. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
You're savior.
That's a scary thought.
You go for me. Get back in the industry.
Hey, Lucifer was a very good show on Netflix. I enjoyed it. Not all angels are white and fluffy, Dean. Some are a little bit dark.
That's
a fallen angel.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that was the end of my bodybuilding career. And people say, why don't you go back now and you can do the 2 bros? And I'm not just as fucking corrupt. And I've got no interest in going back into a competitive world. I hated competing. I hated getting on stage. I love training. I love bodybuilding. I love getting into that condition, pushing yourself and everything about bodybuilding apart from show day. I hated getting on stage.
I was the same. I hated competing. But, it's like you had to do it for sponsors and stuff. I love going to the expos to meet the fans. But to me, training was the best thing. Just going to the gym, training, hanging out with your mates at the gym and stuff. Competing, I just said, the whole dieting thing, and then getting on stage to be judged by these fucking group of fucking buffoons sitting down there at the table who have, like I said, never trained a day in their life. And then the politics is involved. So to me, once it came contest day, people would be like, aren't you upset about your placing and this and that? People are like, oh, you're just upset you never won Olympia. It's like, I knew I'd never win the Olympia. I'm a fucking realist in this sport. My goal was to just go into a contest the best I can be. Whatever happened. That's why a lot of my videos, when I'll be joking around and someone will be talking to me while I'm doing a video, I'm like, quiet, please, I'm training for 8th place at the Mr. Olympia. People are like, Lee, how can you say that? Why would you be training for number 1? I'm like, because I know I'm not going to fucking win the show. I'm not going to be like one of these dickheads that sits at the press conference and goes, everybody's here to win the show. If you don't think you should win it, you shouldn't be here. I'm like, seriously? All you cunts here think you're going to win the fucking Olympia? Look around. If Phil Heath sitting there or Dorian's sitting there, you think you're really going to fucking beat them? Okay, you might think it'd be nice to win it, but be a fucking realist. If you see Dorian, then you see Flex, then you see somebody else, you go, okay, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Maybe I'm around 5th or 6th, I got a good battle for there. But then everyone's sitting there going, if you don't think you should win it, you shouldn't be here. No, be a realist, dickhead. You're not going to beat half those guys. So my goal was every year, the top 10 back then. If you got in the top 10, it qualified you for next year. So I always just aimed to be in the top 10. So if the following year I didn't want to do any pro shows, that would be good because I'm already qualified for the Olympia. So if I set my mind on 10th, the year I got 8th, I'm like, fuck, that's 2 places up from what I thought I was going to get. So I was always happy. It didn't bother me whatsoever.
What was the best position, the highest you got at the Olympia?
5th, but then they changed it after the show. They moved it down to 6 and changed the placing when the show was over. But I got 6.
Because you're lead
times. Exactly.
Tell that story briefly. One year you went into the Olympia as a complete natural for a whole year?
Yeah, I just didn't want to take gear, and that was actually, I think it was Jason Mathis at the time. I think it's Jason Mathis. He used to write for Muscle Mag, and we had this contest going that I could do it naturally and stuff. He's like, oh, bullshit, no, you can't. I said, yes, I can. They ended up doing it. Yeah, training. The only thing I found harder was maybe the conditioning being hard wasn't as hard. But then the main thing was mainly just recovery. Because I love doing cardio, I was doing still 2-3 hours of cardio a day. But I was just taking a lot more fucking aminos and all this sort of shit to try and make up for not taking any gear. So I was a little bit softer. And then it was just like the recovery was probably because I was training twice a day and still doing cardio. If you're taking a bit of gear, you can recover quicker. So I just felt a lot more tired. But other than that, that's why I used to say to people, I said, you know what, I'd love if they drug tested the Olympia, because the ones that still have the good genetics and the ones that love training will still do well at these shows. You know, you still separate the men from the boys if you get rid of all the drugs. So I used to always say, look, drug test the whole thing. I couldn't care less because I can go without it. It doesn't bother me. It's like...
What place did you come that year that you did it natural?
I think I was down 8th or 9th. Or...
So you're like eighth best in the world being a natural for a whole year.
Yeah, but then it's like people like, oh, bullshit. You know, people aren't going to believe it. The only ones who knew it was me and Jason, because we had the bet going. And I even said to him, I said, the only way to even do this was because I said, look, whatever I place, I'll do it natural and then get me drug tested. And if I'm drug tested, I come up positive, I'll give you the prize money. Simple as that. So we had the bet going, but he believed me. But it was one of those things where you tell other people, oh, bullshit, he's just lying. He'll still fucking using gear and shit. I'm like, no, because I actually wanted to see myself whether I could do it again. And like I said, body-wise, recovery, and that was probably the hardest thing. That's why I always hate now when I get emails or messages, Lee, now I need some advice on training and this, how should I train? I'm natural, by the way. I'm like, it doesn't matter whether you're natural on gear, just fucking train hard. My training when I was from 13 to 19, before I first touched gear, before I turned pro, I trained just as fucking hard when I was on gear. I didn't go, oh, well, I'm on gear now, I can ease up my training and fucking go light and not push myself. You train just as hard. I said, off-season, I found off-season on gear and off-season when I was natural on gear was exactly the same because I only trained once a day. I did have time to recover. When I was getting ready for a show, it was a little bit harder because, like I said, I'm doing 3 hours of cardio, training twice a day to recover is hard then. But if you're natural off gear in the off-season or on gear, there's no difference in how style of training and shit like that. It's just people just use that as an excuse. Well, I'm off gear right now, so I'm not really.
Yeah, they just get lazy. They stop training so hard. They stop eating, and then they get smaller because of their diet and their training.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
well, I've told the story before about this one guy at the gym as a young kid. He kept asking me about he wants to put size on, and he wanted to go on gear and kept hounding me. And I said, look, you don't need it. But this guy, when you look at him, he trained probably 3 times a week. His big meal would be like, Subway. I had a foot-long Subway sandwich and this. And so he didn't really have consistent meals. He might one day had 3 meals, next day 2 meals, next day whatever. So he was very inconsistent. Friday to Sunday, one of those kids go out and party. So it's like, I want to go on gear. So I got sick of it. I said, okay, I'll get you some Dianabol. So I gave him these pills. I said, just take 1 or 2 a day. In the 4 weeks, I said, here's a training program. So now he's gone from 3 times a week, he's training 5 days a week. He's gone from eating meals here and there to eating at least 5-6 meals a day. So in like almost 3 to 4 weeks, his body weight's gone up. Great, his strength's gone up. You can't believe, like, wow, I'm getting stronger. I'm looking better, blah, blah, blah. He goes, those tabs are really working. So I went up to the gym. I said, before you swallow them, I said, chew them. And he goes, fuck, they're sweet. I just gave him little sugar pills.
Yeah, it was the gear.
Yeah, but in his mind, he thought he was taking Dianabol. I said, the only thing that's changed here is your fucking eating and your consistency. This is just to prove that if you are consistent with your eating and training and shit, you can still do good and make results. That's why I hate young kids now when they go to a gym. Before they've even done any foundation work for at least 4 or 5 years, they're on gear from day one. It's like, you don't even know how far you could have gone naturally before you've used the gear. You want to try and go as far as you can.
Gear as well.
Yeah.
Huge stacks, and there's Trenbolone, and there's Nat 50s, and there's all these combinations of really.
Well, I couldn't believe when I was in England, some of the young kids there range from some of the seminars I did with Aaron, from 2 grams a test a week to 5 grams a test. I'm like, where the fuck do you put that amount of gear? And I've always told people the highest I ever went on test was 800, and I felt shit. I felt lethargic. My strength went down. I went back to around the 400 mark. Yeah, it was like Cypionate. If I use SUS 250, I take 2 mil a week, which is 500. That's if it's SUS, if it's 250 per mil. So maybe it might have been, 450 a week I was taking. But yeah, I always just use small amounts. Deca was like 200 to 300 mils a week, and people always be like, "I'm more like 2 fucking bottles." I'm like, if I took 2 fucking bottles, I'll tell you I took 2 fucking bottles. I don't give a shit. It's like, I'm trying to tell you that you can make these gains. I used to talk to Tom Platts, and he'll tell me what he used back in the day, and Arnold and them. And they were just very small amounts of the basics, Deca, Dianabol, stuff like that. If I took Dianabol, I wouldn't take any more than 25 to 30 milligrams a day of Dianabol if it was the tablets. And people are like, well, how do you get big on that? Well, it's training, genetics, everything else. And I used to tell people, the ones that are taking 1,000 of this and this, and I said, come off everything completely for at least 4 or 5 months. And when you go back on, eat good, train hard, and use a small amount, I guarantee you'll make the same fucking gains as you are fucking abusing the shit, because you don't need that much. But they go online, well, such and such said this. I'm like, who the fuck are they?
They sort of act like there's calories in trend shit, don't they? It's like, like you say, taking a bottle of this and a gram of this and a meg. It's like there's no calories in it. So unless you've got your diet, like you say, your foundation. Mm-hmm. I personally are guilty of doing this. About, nearly 4 years ago, I kept stacking and stacking and stacking. And then I was getting the shorter, quicker acid.
Oh, well, there you go. It proves my point. You can take all the drugs in the world and still look shit.
Oh, good looking.
Oh, wow. Did I just help your mental state there? You told me I look shit. Fuck them cunts when we get off here. Fuck them cunts.
He's got a noose in the background now. Oh my God.
Our blades are sharp.
He's going to leave a note. I'm going to make that cunt feel guilty. I love everybody. This is Lee Priest's fault.
He was a fan of yours before this podcast, not anymore. Delete him, delete.
Cuts deeper when it's Lee.
Oh, is that a dig at me, is it? Is that a dig at me saying it cuts deeper? Thanks.
Going back to